Welcome everyone. Today's video, I'm going to show you two plants that are looking absolutely amazing in my garden very early on in May. First one is my lilac, as you can see just behind me. We're going to talk a little bit about that, the requirements of that. And the other one, we're going to talk about my clematis montana. The variety is Maylene. Now, both really easy to look after and they're both looking fantastic as the garden is just starting to get going. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So we will start with my common lilac. So the Latin name is Syringa vulgaris. Now this is a beautiful tree. It's a highly scented tree. Now what that means is it's a perfect pollinator in your garden. It's a real beehive of activity this time of year. It's absolutely beautiful and the care requirements are actually simpler than you think. Pruning wise, so really easy to prune. The best time to prune these beautiful trees is just after flowering. So in horticulture, as always, we have the 3Ds, which is dead, damaged and diseased. That's the perfect time to actually do it. So once it's finished flowering, just simply take off the flowers, take out any dead, any damaged and any diseased. Now winter, you can actually do some harder pruning on these, but with any tree, don't do any pruning over the summer as it won't do your trees any good, right? I won't go into that today, that's for another video. Position wise, they do love full sun, so you need at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. Quite lucky here, we have a south facing garden at the rear, but there's only about 3 or 4 houses on our street, right? So there's not much shade, but also there's not much protection from the winds either. So in my garden, they have beautiful sunshine for most of the day, which isn't always the best thing for all plants, but these lilac trees absolutely thrive from them. So when they're young, it's always good practice to plant in the spring or later on in autumn. That's purely down to how much moisture you've got in the soil. If you pick one up in summer, I'd probably recommend keeping it in a pot and keeping it well watered until you get the opportunity back end to actually plant it into the ground. Now, with that being said, in spring, if you are planting it in the ground, then I would highly suggest that you're watering it every other day, depending on where you are in the UK, what your weather's like, and all that sort of good stuff. We had a heavy downpour last night, so it saved me a much needed job in the garden to actually water my garden. But we've also had a few days where it's been on a real dry spell, and that's when you need to be out with your hose pipe or your watering cans and making sure that the soil is nice and moist. It's a lovely word, isn't it? Just to give them the best possible start. So these beautiful trees do get to about 3 or 4 meters in height and also in width as well. Now what I need to do with mine, I need to lift up the base a little bit, so take out some of those lower leaves, and I shall do that in winter. I might even give it just a little bit of a tip prune just to bring the shape back just a little bit, because it's a little bit one-sided, as you can just see just behind me. Now there is certain varieties. You can get a dwarf one which doesn't grow so big in your garden, and some commonly asked questions are sort of, mine hasn't flowered either very well or flowered at all, and that'll be purely down to 2 things. One, sunlight. It doesn't have enough sunlight, and maybe that's your actual fertilizer or ground doesn't have enough good stuff in it. So I'd highly recommend, if that happens to you, you give it a really high potash feed. And what I mean by that is you can just simply go to the garden centre, get a box, and it's called sulfate of potash. Anything in the garden that either you want more flowers off or is struggling to flower, I'd highly recommend that you just scatter some around the base and you water it in very, very well. As mentioned, you can get some dwarf varieties which don't grow quite as big, so just bear that in mind, but I'm not that familiar with those varieties, so you may have to just do a quick Google search if you don't want a 3 to 4 meter tree in your garden. But you do want these beautiful scented flowers. Honestly, they're absolutely amazing. It's about the only plant that I've actually inherited in my garden. So when we moved in here, everything had been cut down to the ground apart from this tree, and in the rear garden there wasn't one single plant in the ground. So I'm just enjoying this. My wife says it's an absolute beauty, the bees love it, and while I'm off at work she's enjoying it, and she says the whole garden early in the morning smells absolutely beautiful. So it is worth mentioning, you can pick these up from around £10 in some stores. Now you've missed the boat a little bit because these tend to come in with magnolias and azaleas and rhododendrons quite early on in the season, but a good garden centre will still have decent stock of this. Not only that, now is the perfect time to be planting them anyway. So if this is something that you want to add to your garden, you haven't got to worry about watering too much as well. You can pick them up relatively cheaply. Just make sure they've got a sunny spot. You water them, you give them a little bit of feed, and they'll reward you. So any questions on that, please drop down below and I'll happily answer any questions that you have in general, right? It doesn't have to be about this. Drop it down below and I'll answer it the best I can. So let's move on to my clematis montana. The variety is Maline, and this is actually something I planted. This is one of the very first things I planted in the garden because I wanted to have something up the house. So let's show you that. Now, reason for me actually wanting to put a clematis up the house is I'd already got a trellis attached to the wall, so it's an easy win for me. I could just simply dig out the soil, add a little bit of good stuff and get it in. Not only that, on the front we've got a couple of pipes which the clematis won't affect that look a little bit unsightly, so I wanted to just have something growing up. The one thing about clematis montana is the pruning requirements are really very simple. Just prune it to whatever shape you want it. Never prune it in the spring because you'll be taking off those lovely flowers that we're actually seeing right now in the garden. The only thing I do with mine is I just make it aesthetically pleasing. So I've basically brought mine up, and any straggly bits I've took off. Any bits that are sort of going around corners I don't want them to, I've took off. Even to the point where just before it's flowered, I've took off about this much on the end. They haven't got any flowers on it, but I just want to make it look tidy. That's the most important tip I've got about that. Just keep it in check. Now, the great thing about clematis montana is it doesn't need much care, doesn't need much pruning, and it's a bit of a rambler, so it will go where you don't want it to go. So make sure you put it in a spot that you really don't mind it going mad, or you actually want it to be there. Does that make sense? So if you want something that stays a certain shape, a certain height, then I'd highly recommend that you don't go for this one. This will cover a house, but it's not going to be invasive like your Russian vine or anything like that. It's not going to hurt the brickwork. The only thing I will watch is when it gets a little bit bigger. Some of the pipes and things like that might just need to do a little bit of pruning, but I'm not really concerned at all. It's not an invasive. It's not an invasive kind of clematis. So that's why I went for this variety. I'll show you a little bit of the shape that I've gone for. Eventually, I want it to cover the whole wall to a degree, but I'll show you that now. Now, just for your interest, guys, this is a north-facing wall. So as you can see, it's absolutely loaded with buds. I haven't given it too much food, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, the idea for me is I want to take it to the right. So as you can see just here, where are we? Just there. It's actually looking quite sparse, so that's what I'm going to concentrate on this year. I'm going to take it to the right of the house. I'm happy what I've got on the left. Loaded with buds, really easy to take care of. And if I feel like it's getting too much, then I know this sounds harsh, but I'll cut it off at the base and it will come again. Now, this is the main stem on the trellis that I discussed, and like I've said, it's got up the main stem and it's just gone and done its thing. I have needed to tie it in, and the time for tying this in is very early spring when they put out such a lot of growth. So I've been tying it up every other week, and then simply the bits I don't want, I do cut off. Right, so don't be afraid to do that. I know they say don't prune it earlier on in spring because you're going to lose your flowers, but you will do that if you give it a harsh cut. The ramblers that are trying to find new homes, if you're not happy with where it's going, either tie it in somewhere else. If you don't want it, just cut it off. Don't worry, it's not going to be precious over it. It's not going to wither and die. And in gardening, as always, this is what I say to you, it's a little bit like suck it and see. So you won't make that mistake again, right? There we have it. I just wanted to share those two plants with you, just purely because of how I get so much joy out of these two, and they're very easy to look after, right? Very, very easy. So if you did enjoy it, then please give it a big thumbs up, as it really does help the channel out, and drop a comment down below as it helps share it out to others who love gardening just like we do. Until tomorrow, I will see you in the garden. You take care.